tell me what you know about the Carnegie dig. So why he supported Marsh at first, and then all of a sudden he didn't support Marsh.
Yeah, so Carnegie, he was putting his.
I know he's a robber baron.
He was putting his money into various charitable things as he got older and realized he'd been a terrible person in his youth.
What's this bone here?
This one?
Yeah.
That's another hip bone. So that's going to be from like an Apatosaurus, big sauropod. So again, it's that sort of spoon-shaped bone at the top of the hip.
And what about the one down here below? A vertebrae of some sort?
That looks like that's definitely a limb bone. There is a mix of stuff here. I think there is, yep, that's a vertebrae, and that one too. I don't remember off the top of my head what those ones are, but they're big.
Probably Brontosaurus family.
Yeah.
And why was the Brontosaurus name killed? Do you know about that?
So, it actually comes down to Marsh and Cope. In science, if you have duplicate names for the same animal, the one that was named first stays. And so Marsh and Cope are so quick to try and outdo each other in terms of number of animals named that they basically give every new skeleton its own genus name. And so Marsh named Apatosaurus of the skeleton he found in like 1877. 2 years later, he finds another skeleton in a different place, names it Brontosaurus. It doesn't take till the 1890s when other scientists start sifting through all of the.
But the Brontosaurus name has kind of come back, though.
Yes, 2015, another paper comes out, and they allege that Brontosaurus's material, because it was always a different species within Apatosaurus. The 2015 paper alleges that they are different enough from each other to make them two separate genus again. It's a bit controversial because they also argue among their conclusions that there are 24 different genus of sauropod living within this same area in a close enough time that at least a dozen of them would be overlapping with each other at any given time. And that's just something that you don't see in any modern ecosystem of that many large, gigantic for their size animals inhabiting one area.
You're quite knowledgeable.
Even in Africa today.
What's your name?
Maybe 4 or 5. I'm Nick.
Nick, pleased to meet you. I'm Zane.
Nice to meet you, Zane.
You're quite knowledgeable.
Thank you for that. We were eavesdropping on your conversation. It was very nice. The skull is cool. Is that the only skull that's in here?
There's one other. It's in that bunk out there, but it's half buried. It's on the last page of that book.
You want to take us over there and show us?
And then these are seismic deals, right?
They're more crack monitors, so we don't have too much of a seismic threat, but we do have a lot of expansion contraction going on in the soils here.
Oh, tell us about these pictures here.
Well, these are pictures from the Carnegie dig. So Carnegie was digging here in the early 1900s. They mounted at least 4 skeletons from here. So the big one was their Apatosaurus.
This is the famous one.
Yes, the famous one that still stands in the Carnegie Museum today.
Yeah.
And what kind of a dinosaur is that?
Apatosaurus.
Apatosaurus?
Really big sauropod. Its biggest claim to fame is that the Brontosaurus fossils are either part of its
Family?
scale. Brontosaurus name has, depending on who you ask, either been lumped into Apatosaurus or they are two distinct but very similar animals.
We got a Stegosaurus over here.
Yep, Stegosaurus plates over here and here.
See, I'm pretty good. I can recognize.
I can't.
Here's the Allosaurus leg. So, got toe bones there, the femur, and then the tibia sort of folded back onto each other. And then this skeleton here has the other skull.
This is incredible that this is intact.
Yeah. So this is the most complete animal still in the quarry today. It's 80% of the bones of this individual are right here in front of us. including most of the spine, most of the limbs, and a fair few number of ribs. So if this here is the neck, as we come over to the end, we've got the skull that comes up here, the tip of the snout is over there, and this would be the roof of the mouth.
Look like we have a Paradon here, huh?
That is a Stegosaurus.
Oh, that's
skull
part of.
assemblage that we're looking at from the front. So
What
these
part?
ribs, they
What
do
part
kind
is?
of
Oh,
look
those
like
are ribs. Okay.
Yeah. And then this thing right here is a very tall.
Where are you pointing your
backbone.
thingy at? Oh, that's a backbone. Okay.
That's a rib bone?
Yep. So these are the rib bones. Whole bunch of them scattered here. And then this backbone, one of the.
Yeah, there's a skull right there.
Of Stegosaurus.
There's the skull of the. There's a skull right here. That's the skull, right?
That is the skull.
And what's that the skull of?
It is also Camarasaurus. So Camarasaurus is doing something very right because it makes up most of the bones in here, and then across this rock group, across the Morrison Formation in the entire west, Camarasaurus makes up most of the dinosaur finds.
And what family is he part of? The Brontosaurus family?
Is also part of the sauropod family, like Diplodocus and Apatosaurus. It is a very different sauropod from the others, so it has a much boxier, squarish skull. It's got a relatively shorter neck, but still a objectively long neck. And it would have a much better bite for chowing down on tougher, woodier plants than animals like Diplodocus.
And it looks like we have Brontosaurus family femur there, right?
That would be a scapula, but yes.
No,
that is
I
the
was
correct
talking
thing,
about
and the
above
femur
there.
up
Above there,
yep.
yep.
So, more than a few bones over on this side. Got a nice set of tail bones from Diplodocus. When you go downstairs and see the baby Stegosaurus, that was found right up here. So that's one of the few things that we actually took out of the wall during the Park Service excavations. Because that was a very unique specimen, and so because of its importance to science, we wanted to be able to look at that 360 degrees.
And right here, you've got a back. One of the dinosaurs is on its back right here, right?
Yes, those are.
You point the right there.
Yeah.
Point your laser right there. That one. Nope, above there. Right there, yeah.
Yeah, another string of tail bones. I'm not certain on those. They're not the same as the Diplodocus ones down here.
And that's a skull right above there too, right?
No, that is another limb bone.
Oh, that's
a
right above the vertebrae, right there.
No, those are more vertebrae.
Oh, okay. Above the rounded thing above there.
Sorry.
Huh.
Limb